Live from New York, it's Saturday night!
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're discussing the dark stories behind Saturday Night Live.
If somebody doesn't like you, then and they own the joint, that's fine. I mean, I don't know.
Why would you want to work in that atmosphere?
Saturday Night Live may seem like a lighthearted comedy show, but there's been plenty of drama behind the scenes. Do you know of any stories we missed? Let us know in the comments. SNL is a well-loved sketch comedy show that's been on the air since 1975. Written mainly by the rotating members of the ensemble cast, each episode of each season greatly differs from every other. With so much change, it makes sense that there would be a lot of drama behind the scenes. In this video, we'll be looking at the shocking, controversial, and generally dark stories of the variety show. Saturday Night Live debuted on October 11th, 1975, and it quickly developed a fan base. 3 women were in the original cast: Gilda Radner, Jane Curtin, and Lorraine Newman.
You seem so poised and self-assured today.
Thanks, Vicki. I am. I never even knew it was possible to be this sure of myself as a woman.
The group of original staff writers also had 3 women, and even more were behind the camera in other roles. However, breakout star John Belushi still believed that women were genuinely and fundamentally unable to do comedy.
So working with him was hard because he didn't respect me, or at least he appeared not to respect me, and he didn't seem to respect the other women on the show or the women writers. So it was difficult working with John.
Over his 4 seasons on the show, he would not put effort into sketches written by his female colleagues, actively sabotaging their success.
You see, I've got a bad reputation around NBC as a troublemaker.
His wife, Judy Belushi Pisano, argues against these claims, though. Another original cast member, Chevy Chase, caused problems on the show.
It's just a word association. I'll throw you out a few words. Anything that comes to your mind, just throw it back at me, okay? It's just kind of an arbitrary thing. Like if I said dog, you'd say... Tree.
He was known to be hard to work with from the beginning, and his ego had apparently grown even larger since his departure during the 2nd season. He returned as a host in the 3rd season, the first former cast member to do so, and he was anything but cooperative. During the week leading up to the episode, Chase initially refused to do the Weekend Update segment with Jane Curtin, though he later relented, and he was generally abusive to the writers and cast.
Well, go back to Hollywood and do it, because it won't work here. This is my show, and I won't be pushed around by Belushi or you or her.
Tensions mounted, and just before he went on stage to give his monologue, he and Bill Murray got into a fist fight. Thankfully, Murray's brother was there to break them up. During the monologue, Chase was clearly shaken up, frequently pausing and trailing off.
I must tell you, it's great to be back in this town, and I think, let's be honest. New York City is the greatest city in the world, isn't it?
Lorne Michaels is a well-known name in SNL history, being the creator and first producer of the show, and still producing it as of the 48th season.
Well, I didn't sign up for this. It just worked out that way.
But did you know that he left in 1980, along with the whole cast and almost every writer? Michaels was replaced by Gene Dumanian for most of the 6th season. Viewership declined by 30%, and critics panned the show, failing to find the old joy and humor in it. Maybe they were right, because very few sketches from this time have made best of lists and compilations. The season started on the wrong foot, with the first cold open introducing the new cast members as mixes between old ones.
Let's see, you're the one... Go kind of a cross between Chevy Chase and Bill Murray.
Who thought that comparing new faces to well-worn, beloved talent would go over well? After 2 F-bombs slipped on the air, Dumanian produced 1 more episode and was fired. Dick Ebersol took over for the rest of the season, which was cut short until Michaels returned in 1985. As a result of all the shakeups and poor reception, Season 6 is often credited as the worst of the series.
Will I tell you one thing, boy? You just better don't.
Well, I ain't going to.
In the 8th season, Nick Nolte was set to host SNL to promote his upcoming film, 48 Hours. But when the time came, he was too hungover to go on stage. So his 48 Hours co-star, Eddie Murphy, stepped up.
When Nick got here and got off the plane, he vomited on my shirt. We realized Nick was too sick to do the show. That's too bad, because Nick was going to be in some real great stuff tonight.
Since Murphy was still part of the cast in 1982, this setup was already peculiar. As of season 48, he is still the only person to host while being a cast member.
We weren't prepared for quite this, and I think we should just kind of call it a night and all go home, okay? Thank you. It was a valiant effort. Thank you. Come on, honey. Let's just...
Why?
I beg your pardon?
What's the matter? You don't like to dance?
During the 8th season, Eddie Murphy was one of the most featured performers of the cast, and hosting the show only gave him more screen time. To make matters worse, he ended his solo cold open by saying,
Live from New York, it's the Eddie Murphy Show!
His castmates were not pleased, to say the least. Eddie Murphy left the show just before the end of the 9th season, leaving big shoes to fill. Damon Wayans was hired for season 11, but denied big parts, apparently because Lorne Michaels thought it would look racist to replace Murphy so quickly with another funny black man.
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? Okay, great. Hey, it's great to be here.
As you can guess, this didn't sit well with Wayans. The breaking point came on March 15th, 1986, when Wayans deviated from the script for a sketch parodying Miami Vice.
Well, let's just say I got smart. Real estate used to mean big money in this town, real big money. But then the little thing came along called rent control.
Although he was supposed to play his role in a subdued manner, staying in the shadow of John Lovitz as Mr. Monopoly, he decided to play it as an effeminate, flamboyant gay man.
If the Parker brothers could see you now, they'd puke. Why you ain't in jail, Miss... Oh, that's right, you're Mr. Monopoly.
Michaels was furious and fired Wayans right after the sketch before the show even ended. In 1990, popular and controversial stand-up comedian Andrew Dice Clay hosted SNL, although not everyone was excited about his episode.
All this fuss over one stinking show, I never meant to hurt nobody.
Cast member Nora Dunn refused to participate, objecting to his sexist and homophobic jokes. Fellow castmate John Lovitz says that she refused to do the episode in order to get more publicity. Regardless of the reasoning, there were several jabs at Dunn's boycott throughout the show.
Behold.
What is that?
That is Nora Dunn.
Planned musical guest Sinead O'Connor also pulled out due to the host, and people protested both outside the building and inside Studio 8H. However, the episode had the highest viewership of the season thus far.
So without any further ado, we're going to give you the best show you've ever seen on Saturday Night Live, so stick around. We'll be right back.
There are plenty of one-time hosts in the show's history, like Andrew Dice Clay, but few have made as negative an impression as Steven Seagal.
I hope you'll forgive me for being a little bit serious, but it's important to me to let you know that there's a lot more to Steven Seagal than the martial arts.
The week leading up to his season 16 episode was difficult for the cast, as Seagal was rude, unprofessional, and generally disliked. His ideas for sketches were also not popular with the writers or the audience, and his comedic chops were clearly lacking. Lorne Michaels has even named this episode as the worst in Saturday Night Live history, mainly because of the host, who has been banned from returning.
Hope you don't mind. Well, I guess it wouldn't matter if I did because I wouldn't be there at the time.
Sometimes people other than the host can make life behind the scenes difficult. During her stay from season 12 to season 17, cast member Victoria Jackson didn't mesh well with her coworkers.
The Life of a Table by Victoria Jackson. Okay. The life of a table is not grand. You place things on me you wouldn't hold in your hand.
Part of this could be because she was a Christian right-wing conservative on a very liberal show. Apparently, she could change her lines if they included offensive words and was allowed to drop out of a sketch because it went against her religious beliefs.
Victoria!
What?
What?
Huh?
What? Oh, you rang the bell.
She has said that she felt it was her duty to tell the cast about Jesus, even if that didn't make her popular. In fact, Jackson once gave her castmates audio cassettes of the Bible for Christmas. The gifts were promptly and angrily returned. Jackson was so disliked by her castmates that one person, Al Franken, never spoke to her again. After her time on SNL, she got involved in politics and even ran for a Tennessee County Commissioner's seat in 2014.
Why I'm running for office is because I'm very concerned about America. And I think that the solution is local government.
In the mid-1990s, the O.J. Simpson trial produced a lot of material for comedy.
Simpson attorney Johnny Cochran put on the knit cap prosecutors say O.J. wore the night he committed the murders. Although O.J. may have hurt his case when he suddenly blurted out, "Hey, easy with that. That's my lucky stabbing hat."
One comedian who took full advantage of the situation was Norm Macdonald, who frequently joked about Simpson on Weekend Update.
In his book, O.J. Simpson says that he would have taken a bullet or stood in front of a train for Nicole. Man, I'm going to tell you, that is some bad luck when the one guy who would have died for you kills you.
McDonald's dry wit was very popular with audiences, but not so much with Don Ohlmeyer, an NBC president who was also friends with Simpson. Ohlmeyer didn't appreciate the constant jokes about his pal, and he was likely responsible for McDonald's firing from Weekend Update in the middle of season 23.
That this guy, Don Ohlmeyer, turns out to be the president?
Yeah, now I know Don Ohlmeyer, and just between you and me, he's an idiot.
Oh.
Another successful comedian who lasted one season on SNL is Sarah Silverman.
Here now with our personal news of the week, our new Update correspondent, Sarah Silverman. Sarah?
She was hired as a writer and featured player for the 19th season, though none of her sketches ever made it to air, and she never acted as anything larger than a bit part.
It should be really neato.
Oh, did you hear that, Nito?
Yes, I did.
Me too. Miss Susie Q. Wonder Bread.
You wanna be fly girl?
During one rewrite session with the cast, she was fixating on castmate Al Franken's hair when she got the idea for a strange prank. The joke was to put her pencil through a lock of his hair, but she missed the mark and ended up stabbing him in the temple. Silverman now jokes that this assault was why she didn't last longer than a season.
I was like a featured performer on this show in the 90s, and I wasn't in much, but a lot of times I'd mostly be like a plant in the audience, you know, asking fake questions to the host during the monologue.
Season 20, from 1994 to 1995, was a time of great change for SNL.
Of course. Why would you ask that? Yes.
Ratings and viewer numbers were declining, gossip was spreading, and Lorne Michaels later said it was the time he was closest to being fired. The members of the cast fluctuated over the year, with Mike Myers leaving mid-season and 3 people added at various points throughout the season.
Are you proud of yourself? Take a look. Here's your handiwork.
Janine Garofalo was a new player from the first episode, and Morwenna Banks was added mid-season, but both of them left before the finale. Someone was bound to notice all these changes and make fun of them. The joke came in the last sketch of the last episode, which featured several cast members playing themselves and jumping into the polar bear cage at the Central Park Zoo.
Look at this polar bear cage. Hey, you think I can swim the little moat both ways before the bear eats me? $5 says you can. All right. Read 'em and weep, my friend.
It worked to give the message that no one on the cast was safe. SNL performer Jay Moore even wrote a book about the overcrowded year titled Gasping for Airtime. John Belushi wasn't the only well-known SNL cast member with substance use disorder, but he was the first to overdose.
I'm staying away from there. I'm staying in New York.
You're very fortunate, folks.
I died at a very young age here in New York City, so don't worry, I won't come out there.
After his death from cocaine and heroin in 1982, friends came out to say that he had been spiraling downward for months, doing more and more drugs and being less and less cognizant. He was just 33 years old.
So it was tough to lose my partner at that time, and also the way he died. Unfortunate that he died that way.
15 years later, in 1997, another breakout SNL star died of an overdose at the age of 33. This star was Chris Farley, who just so happened to idolize Belushi. Both men used comedy and drugs to cope with insecurity and ignored the multiple warnings from their friends.
You don't really believe it when you're going through it. You just think that he'd be able to pull it out.
You're gonna die from that shit, buddy. You gotta stop. You gotta stop. And it's just not gonna end right. And then there you go.
In 1999, just before season 25 started, a new contract was made and given to new hires.
Talk to us. We'll get you the money you deserve.
It states that if a performer wants to be a regular on the show, NBC has the right to remove them after their second year and put them in a sitcom. The small leeway allowed is the opportunity to turn down 2 sitcom offers, but the third has to be accepted.
It's okay, I knew. You knew? How?
As if this creative control isn't enough, another part dictates how much the performer would make for 3 movies with Paramount Pictures, all the rates of which are much lower than they had been before the contract.
Yeah, I can't do this. Miss Norbury, you're a successful, intelligent, caring, graceful woman.
I am.
Although talent managers and agents usually advise against signing the contract, they are often ignored because SNL is such a giant in the comedy business. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. In 2016, rapper Kanye West almost walked out of SNL before performing on the show for his 6th appearance.
Kanye, I'm gonna battle you.
Huh?
Kanye West.
Crew members made some changes to his stage due to shiny flooring reflecting stage lights and washing out the screen behind him, but West didn't care.
Uh-oh, Kanye got that look.
Oh no, what are you up to, Kanye?
Oh, he's definitely gonna do something.
He went on a tirade that included insults toward Taylor Swift and claims that he is more influential than 50% of all people, dead or alive. Some other names he dropped were Stanley Kubrick, St. Paul, Pablo Picasso, and Pablo Escobar. Lorne Michaels had to calm him down before he finally went on stage to perform.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kanye West.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.